You don't wake up powerful one day. You wake up honest, and that honesty changes everything. I know many of you are standing at the edge of a new year with quiet questions in your heart. You've worked hard, you've loved deeply, you've sacrificed more than anyone ever saw, and still, you wonder if you're enough, if you're late, if you missed something everyone else figured out. Before you step into 2026, there are some truths no one warns you about. They're not gentle, they're not pretty, but they are freeing. And once you accept them, you stop surviving and you start rising. Let me walk with you through them. There comes a moment in every woman's life when the silence gets louder than the noise around her. A moment when you realize that all the waiting has not brought relief. It has only delayed your becoming. We are taught, subtly and sometimes very clearly, to expect rescue. To believe that someone will notice our effort, recognize our sacrifice, and step in to lift the weight from our shoulders. We wait for the call, the approval, the invitation, the validation that finally tells us, now you are chosen. But life does not work that way. And the truth, as uncomfortable as it is also deeply liberating. No one is coming to save you. This truth doesn't mean you are alone. It means you are powerful. It means your life is not dependent on someone else's readiness, kindness, or understanding. There was a time I believed that if I worked hard enough, stayed humble enough, stayed patient enough, someone would open the door for me. And sometimes they did. But most of the doors that changed my life were the ones I pushed open myself. Shaking, uncertain, but determined. Waiting feels safe, but it quietly steals your time. And time is the one thing you never get back. When you accept that no one is coming, something inside you shifts. You stop explaining your dreams to people who don't listen. You stop shrinking your needs to fit into someone else's comfort. You stop postponing your happiness until the conditions feel perfect. You begin to ask yourself a different question. Not who will help me, but what am I willing to do for myself? That question is the beginning of self-respect. Self-rescue doesn't look dramatic. It's not a loud declaration. It's quiet, daily courage. It's waking up on days when your heart feels heavy and still choosing discipline over despair. It's learning skills no one taught you. It's setting boundaries even when your voice trembles. It's making decisions that are unpopular but aligned. And yes, it's lonely sometimes. Growth often is. But loneliness fades when purpose steps in. Many women stay stuck not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they keep outsourcing their power. They wait for permission to speak, permission to lead, permission to want more. But permission is not something life hands out. It is something you take, gently, responsibly, but firmly. The world responds differently to a woman who knows she is responsible for her own destiny. Not arrogant, not reckless, grounded, rooted, awake. Faith plays a quiet role here. Faith doesn't mean waiting for miracles to fall into your lap. Faith means believing that you are given everything you need to take the next step, even if you can't see the whole path yet. It means trusting that effort is holy, that showing up matters, that God works through motion, not paralysis. When you move, life moves with you. Saving yourself also means releasing the fantasy that someone else's love will fix what you haven't healed. Love can support you, but it cannot replace self-worth. Success can amplify you, but it cannot create confidence if you haven't built it. External things are bonuses, not foundations. The foundation must be you, your values, your discipline, your faith. And once you accept this truth fully, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling like a victim of timing or circumstance. You stop narrating your life as a story of almosts and what ifs. You begin to act with intention. You plan. You prepare. You rise early. You work quietly. You forgive yourself faster. You stop waiting to be rescued and start becoming reliable to yourself. This is not about carrying the world alone. It's about standing strong enough to choose who walks beside you. Because the strongest women are not the ones who never needed help. They are the ones who didn't collapse while waiting for it. Before 2026 arrives, let this truth settle into your bones. No one is coming. And that is not a sentence, it is a blessing. Because the moment you stop waiting to be saved is the moment you realize you were never helpless. You were just becoming. There is a quiet exhaustion that comes from trying to be liked by everyone. It doesn't arrive all at once. It builds slowly, through the pauses before you speak, the smiles you offer when you want to say no, the way you soften your truth so it doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. From a very young age, many women are taught that being pleasant is a kind of currency, that if you are kind enough, agreeable enough, accommodating enough, the world will keep you safe. But here is the truth no one prepares you for. Being liked is expensive, and too many women are paying with their peace. I learned early that approval feels good, but it never lasts. You can do everything right today, and tomorrow will still be misunderstood. You can give endlessly and still be called selfish the first time you choose yourself. The problem with chasing likability is that it turns your life into a performance. You start editing yourself in real time. You read rooms instead of reading your own heart. You become fluent in everyone else's expectations and forget your own needs. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you disappear from your own life. There were moments when I thought being nice was the same as being good. It took time and a few painful lessons to understand the difference. Kindness is honest. People-pleasing is fearful. Kindness comes from abundance. People-pleasing comes from the fear of rejection. One is strength, the other is survival. And survival is not the life you are meant to live. Every time you say yes when your spirit is screaming no, you send yourself a message, my comfort matters less than theirs. Every time you stay silent to avoid conflict, you teach people how to treat you. This is not about becoming harsh or cold, it's about becoming clear. Clarity is respectful, clarity saves time, clarity builds trust with others and more importantly, with yourself. Respect has a different weight than approval. Approval is loud but shallow. Respect is quiet but deep. Approval claps for you when you perform. Respect stands by you when you don't. And here's the hard part. You cannot have both all the time. The moment you choose honesty over harmony, some people will pull away. Not because you are wrong, but because they benefited from your silence. Let them go. The people who truly see you will not require you to shrink. Boundaries are often misunderstood. They are not punishments, they are not ultimatums, they are declarations of self-worth. A boundary simply says, this is where I end and you begin. It protects your energy so you can give from fullness, not resentment. When you stop over-explaining your boundaries, you stop negotiating your dignity. You don't owe everyone access. You don't owe everyone a seat at your table. Faith plays a role here too. Faith teaches discernment. Not everyone who smiles at you is meant to walk with you. Not every opportunity deserves your yes. When you trust that you are guided, you stop grasping for validation. You understand that alignment is more important than applause, that being at peace is more valuable than being praised. There is a strange freedom that comes when you stop trying to be liked. You speak more slowly. You choose your words more carefully. You stop rushing to fill silence. You listen to your intuition instead of overriding it. You begin to attract different kinds of relationships, ones built on honesty, not convenience. Depth replaces drama. Respect replaces anxiety. And yes, it can feel uncomfortable at first. When you change the rules, people notice. Some will test you, some will resist. But consistency teaches them who you are now. You don't need to announce your transformation. Live it calmly, firmly, with grace. As you move toward 2026, ask yourself this: how much of your life has been shaped by the need to be liked? And what could change if you chose to be respected instead? By others and by yourself. You were not born to be palatable, you were born to be real. And the right people will recognize the difference. When you stop overpaying for approval, you reclaim your energy. And energy, once reclaimed, becomes power. There is a myth we are sold early in life, that if you feel inspired enough, confident enough, ready enough, everything will fall into place. We wait for the fire, we wait for the rush, we wait for the moment when fear disappears and motivation takes over, but life rarely moves on emotion alone. And the hard truth is this: motivation is unreliable, discipline is not. I've had days when I felt unstoppable, and I've had days when getting out of bed felt like a negotiation with my own spirit. Motivation showed up on the good days. Discipline showed up on all of them. Discipline is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't care how you feel. It asks only one thing: that you show up again and again and again. Dreams are not built in moments of excitement. They are built in routines, in repetition, in the unglamorous hours when no one is watching and nothing feels rewarding yet. Discipline is choosy. What you want most over what you want now. It is saying no to comfort so you can say yes to growth. And that choice, made daily, changes everything. There were seasons in my life where the excitement faded quickly, but the work remained. Early mornings, long nights, rejection that came without explanation, silence after effort. If I had waited to feel inspired every time, I would have stopped. But discipline carried me forward when belief felt fragile. It became my anchor. It taught me that consistency builds confidence far more reliably than enthusiasm ever could. Discipline also builds trust, not with the world, but with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows. Every time you break one, doubt creeps in. Confidence is not something you wait to feel. It is something you earn through follow-through. You don't wake up one day suddenly fearless. You become fearless by proving to yourself that you can do hard things even when you don't feel ready. There is something deeply spiritual about discipline. It is a form of devotion, a quiet prayer repeated through action. When you show up daily, you are saying, I believe this life matters. I believe my effort matters. Faith is not passive. Faith moves. Faith works. Faith wakes up early and stays late. It trusts that seeds planted consistently will eventually grow, even when the soil looks dry. Discipline also protects you from the chaos of emotion. Feelings change, energy fluctuates, but systems sustain you. When you build habits instead of relying on moods, you stop being a hostage to how you feel. You become steady, grounded, reliable, and the world responds to that steadiness. This doesn't mean being harsh with yourself. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in motion. It is knowing when to rest and when to push. It is choosing progress over perfection. Some days discipline looks like doing everything on your list. Other days it looks like doing one thing well and honoring your limits. Both matter. Before 2026 arrives, let go of the idea that you need to feel inspired to begin. Begin, and inspiration will catch up. Let go of waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, the perfect confidence. Discipline creates all three, one small decision at a time. When motivation fades, and it will, discipline will be the bridge that carries you forward. And on the other side of that bridge is a version of you who knows her own strength, not because she felt ready, but because she kept going. Growth has a way of changing the rooms you fit into. One day you look around and realize the conversations feel smaller, the laughter sounds familiar but no longer nourishing, and the silence between words feels heavier than it used to. This is not arrogance, it is evolution. And one of the hardest truths a woman must accept is that outgrowing people is not betrayal. It is a natural consequence of becoming who you are meant to be. For a long time we are taught that loyalty means staying the same for the comfort of others, that love means holding on, even when it hurts, that history is a reason to remain, even when alignment is gone. But growth doesn't ask for permission. It pulls you forward. And when you resist it to keep others comfortable, you pay with stagnation. You begin to dim parts of yourself just to belong. There were moments in my life when I felt guilty for changing, for wanting more, for dreaming differently. I wondered if growth meant I was ungrateful. It took time to understand that gratitude for where you've been does not require you to live there forever. You can honor the past without sacrificing the future. You can love people deeply and still choose a different path. Outgrowing someone doesn't always come with conflict. Sometimes it arrives quietly. The phone calls slow down. The energy shifts. You no longer feel understood the way you once did. And that can be painful, especially when the people you are leaving behind once saw you at your weakest. But strength changes dynamics. Some people only feel connected to you when you need them. When you stand on your own, they don't recognize their place anymore. Letting go without bitterness is a skill. It requires humility and self-trust. You don't need to explain your growth to those committed to misunderstanding it. You don't need to convince anyone that your evolution is valid. The right people will not compete with your growth, they will celebrate it. They will not ask you to return to who you were, they will walk with you toward who you are becoming. Faith teaches us seasons. Not everything is meant to last forever. Some connections are bridges, not destinations. They help you cross into a new version of yourself, and then their purpose is complete. Holding on beyond that point doesn't preserve the relationship, it strains it. Release, when done with grace, is not abandonment, it is wisdom. There is also courage in choosing solitude over misalignment. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness comes from being unseen in the presence of others. Solitude creates space for clarity. It allows you to hear your own voice again. It strengthens your intuition. And it prepares you for healthier, more aligned connections in the future. As you grow, some people will label you distant, changed, or difficult. Let them. Growth often looks threatening to those who are unwilling to grow themselves. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to live in truth, not in guilt. Before 2026 arrives, give yourself permission to evolve without apology. Release relationships that require you to stay small. Bless what was. Learn from what ended. And trust that what belongs in your next chapter will meet you there, without resistance, without fear, without conditions. Pain has a way of making you question everything. Your worth, your timing, your faith, even your own strength. When life begins to unravel in ways you didn't plan, it's easy to believe that you are being punished, that somehow you did something wrong. But one of the most important truths a woman must accept is this: your pain is not a sentence, it is a season. And seasons are meant to shape you, not define you. There were moments when I looked at my struggles and wondered why effort wasn't enough. Why good intentions didn't guarantee good outcomes. Why did the doors close after I'd given everything I had? Pain feels personal when you are inside it. It whispers lies. It tells you that you are behind, broken, or undeserving. But pain is a poor narrator. It only shows you the wound, not the wisdom it is building. Every setback carries instruction. Every disappointment sharpens awareness. Pain teaches you what comfort never could. It teaches discernment. It teaches humility. It teaches compassion, not the kind that performs, but the kind that understands. When you have known struggle, you move through the world with softer judgment and deeper strength. You stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. You learn to listen. Preparation rarely feels gentle. Growth is often disguised as loss. You don't see what pain is building while you're carrying it. You only recognize it later. When you stand stronger in a storm that once would have broken you. When rejection no longer defines you. When failure no longer frightens you. Pain expands your capacity. It prepares you for responsibilities you once prayed for without understanding their weight. Faith plays its quiet role here. Faith doesn't erase pain. It gives it meaning. It reminds you that nothing is wasted. That even the nights you cried yourself to sleep were counted. That even the prayers you whispered in exhaustion were heard. Preparation happens in the dark long before the stage is visible. There is also a choice hidden inside pain. You can allow it to harden you, or you can let it refine you. Bitterness is pain that didn't find purpose. Wisdom is pain that did. The difference is reflection. Healing requires honesty about what hurt you, what you tolerated, and what you learned. Strength grows when you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Before 2026 arrives, stop apologizing for the ways pain changed you. It made you more aware, more resilient, more grounded. You are not behind, you are being prepared. What tried to break you was building the foundation for something stronger. Healing is often romanticized as something soft and beautiful. Candles, quiet music, deep breaths. But real healing is honest, and honesty can be uncomfortable. One of the hardest truths you will ever face is that you cannot heal in the same place that keeps wounding you. You cannot recover while constantly reopening the same scars, and no amount of hope will change an environment that refuses to change with you. There was a time when I believed endurance was strength. That if I stayed long enough, loved hard enough, explained myself clearly enough, things would improve. But healing doesn't respond to patience alone. It responds to change. Staying in places that drain you teaches your nervous system to live in survival mode. You become alert instead of alive, careful instead of curious. And slowly, you forget what peace feels like. Sometimes the place that hurts you is not a physical space. It's a pattern, a habit, a relationship, a version of yourself that learned to accept less just to avoid being alone. Healing asks you to look at that honestly, not with shame, but with courage. Because awareness is the first step toward freedom. Letting go is rarely dramatic. It doesn't always come with closure or apologies. Often it comes with clarity, a quiet knowing that staying is costing you more than leaving ever could. And when you finally listen to that knowing, guilt often follows, especially for women. We are taught to hold things together, to be the emotional glue, to sacrifice comfort for continuity. But healing does not thrive in self-abandonment. Walking away from what hurts you does not mean you failed. It means you listened. It means you chose growth over familiarity. And familiarity, while comforting, can be dangerous when it keeps you stuck. There is grief in leaving, even when leaving is right. Allow that grief. It does not mean you made the wrong choice, it means you cared. Faith teaches surrender, not to pain, but to truth. Sometimes the prayer is not fix this, but release me. Healing requires space. Space to breathe, space to feel without being judged, space to rebuild without interference. And that space often only appears after you step away from what keeps pulling you back into old wounds. You don't owe explanations to everyone. Some people will never understand your decision because they were comfortable with your discomfort. Let them misunderstand. Healing does not require consensus. It requires alignment. You are allowed to choose environments that support your growth, not just tolerate your presence. Before 2026 arrives, ask yourself where you are bleeding and calling it loyalty. Ask yourself what you keep revisiting that keeps reopening the same pain, and be brave enough to step into unfamiliar peace instead of familiar chaos. Fear is persuasive. It speaks in facts, in logic, in reminders of everything that could go wrong. It tells you to be careful, to wait, to not risk too much because you've already survived enough. And for a long time, fear sounds reasonable, responsible even. But here is the final truth, the one that changes how you step into the future. Your purpose is bigger than your fear. Always has been, always will be. Fear is not a sign that you are weak, it is a sign that you care, that what you are reaching for matters. But fear becomes dangerous when it starts making decisions for you. When it convinces you that safety is the same as fulfillment. When it shrinks your vision until your world feels smaller than your potential. Fear will happily let you stay comfortable while quietly robbing you of what you were meant to become. Purpose, on the other hand, does not shout. It whispers. It doesn't demand perfection. It asks for movement. One step, one honest attempt, one brave choice. Purpose doesn't require you to know the whole plan. It only asks that you trust the pull in your spirit more than the noise in your mind. There were moments when fear told me I wasn't ready, that I was asking for too much, that I should wait until I felt more confident, more qualified, more certain. But certainty never arrives before action. It follows it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move anyway, to let faith be louder than doubt. Faith does not promise ease. It promises meaning. It reminds you that you were not given a vision by accident, that the restlessness you feel is not dissatisfaction, it is direction. Purpose disrupts comfort. It stretches you beyond what feels familiar. And that stretch is uncomfortable, necessary, sacred. Service is where purpose becomes real. When you stop asking only what you can gain and start asking who you can impact, fear loosens its grip. Purpose grows when it's bigger than you, when it's rooted in contribution, not comparison. The moment your life becomes about more than proving yourself, fear loses its power. Gratitude steadies you here. It keeps you grounded while you reach higher. It reminds you of how far you've already come, of what you've survived, of the strength you didn't know you had until life demanded it. Gratitude doesn't make you settle. It gives you the courage to continue. As 2026 approaches, fear will still speak. Let it. But don't let it lead. Let purpose lead. Let faith guide your steps. Let discipline support your effort. Let gratitude anchor your heart. You do not need to eliminate fear to move forward. You only need to stop obeying it. You are not late. You are not behind. You are being called forward. Don't wait until fear disappears. Walk while it trembles. Because what you are becoming requires courage. And courage has always been part of who you are. Before you step into 2026, remember this. You were never meant to arrive perfect. You were meant to arrive faithful. Faithful to your growth. Faithful to your discipline. Faithful to the quiet voice inside you that kept going when no one was watching. Life will test you. People will doubt you. Fear will try to sit in the driver's seat. Let it ride, but never let it lead. Keep walking. Keep choosing what is right over what is easy. Keep trusting that every honest step is being guided, even when the road feels uncertain. You don't need to see the whole path. You only need the courage to take the next step. Because when faith meets action, doors open, strength rises, and the life meant for you begins to unfold. Right on time, go forward. Stand firm and trust this truth. What is aligned with your purpose will never pass you by, and what you walk toward with faith will always meet you halfway.